What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Glover Teixeira not happy with Khamzat Chimaev. It looks like UFC legend Glover Teixeira is not happy with Khamzat. Recently, RJ Clifford interviewed Glover Teixeira on his UFC Glory Days podcast. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. During the interview, Glover talked about Khamzat Chimaev, and surprisingly, he wasn't happy with how he trains against lower-level sparring partners. Everything aside, Glover did give Khamzat his props, but called him out for his training partners.
Oh, he's great. He's a great, I like the way he talks, and he back it up, right? He come back and he show, and it's amazing. He's an amazing fighter, and again, talking, one thing that I probably don't like him is sometimes he fights. If I have to say one thing I don't like about Chimaev is like, I see him sometimes he spar the guys, he beat some people, they're like not even his level sparring, So it's like, but he's an amazing fighter, amazing, good in the microphone too.
Alex Pereira leaks DMs with Joaquin Buckley. Back at UFC's first ESPN card of January 2022, Joaquin Buckley was set to face Abdulrashid Al-Hassan, but Razak pulled out due to a shoulder injury. Buckley claims he was asking for a replacement fighter for that card, and the UFC offered him Alex Pereira. He claims that he accepted the fight, but was later told that Alex wouldn't have time to prepare. Here's the clip.
So Razak went ahead and said he had a little shoulder injury. So they called me up, telling me Razak had pulled out the fight. And I'm like, come on, bro. And they was like, look, we can make it for another day. I said, no, don't make it for another day, man. Find me a fighter, man. I don't care who it is, you find me a fighter. So Brian at the time, who was my manager, called me back. And he sounded all like distressed. He was like, I really don't like this fight for us. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Before he even got the name out, I already had it in my heart. I said, is it Alex Pereira? He said, how the you know that? Right, I was like, man, I just had a feeling. But that's who they want me to fight? He said, yes. I said, look, I'm a dog. So regardless of what we do, I was like, man, I gotta eat, right? So I called Brian back. I said, man, let's go. He gonna talk about, I got some bad news. I'm like, oh, what's this dude on, right? He said he won't be able to take the fight because his coaches or himself said they wouldn't be ready in time. I was the person that was willing to take that fight, and be honest with you, I was gonna plan on knocking that man out too.
Now today, Alex leaked DMs with Buckley in 2022, showing himself replying to Buckley, telling him to go back to the end of the line. Alex responded to Buckley, sending him a post by writing, "Why did you send me this post? Of the 15 that ran, you were the first. Now go back to the end of the line." While both Pereira and Buckley no longer compete in the middleweight division, with Pereira potentially moving up to heavyweight from light heavyweight and Buckley sitting at welterweight coming off a loss to Kamaru Usman back in June, the matchup between the two will never happen, with Alex shooting up in stardom since then. And already at age 38, it's likely we won't see Alex fight a few more times in the UFC, and they will definitely be superstar fights. UFC updates. With a fight night card this weekend, let's take a look at some UFC fight updates. We'll kick it off with Marcel Dorff revealing a fight date being changed. According to the report, Miles John's fight has now changed for the 5th time. Nah, we're just messing around. Those of you who watched the video yesterday would get that. Anyways, Marcel Dorff has revealed that the fight between Luana Santos and Melissa Croden is being moved. We reported before that this fight was originally scheduled for next week's event, but for some reason the fight is now changed to the last event of the year. Moving on, we have Larissa Pacheco sending a message to Dana White after being released by the PFL. For those of you who don't know, Larissa Pacheco was a 2-division champ in the PFL and was randomly released last Thursday. Prior to joining the PFL, she was actually in the UFC for 2 fights, but unfortunately, she lost both the fights to Jessica Andrade and Jermaine Durandamy. Now, she's urging the UFC to give her a second chance following the PFL situation. Dana, I'm here ready and willing. I'm here to prove I have what it takes to be there, to deliver great results, to show a different Larissa. I was just a kid when I joined the UFC. I'm mature now. I'm structured. I can make weight and put on a show. I'm ready to fight outside events too if I have to prove to you, Dana and Mick Maynard, the ones running things, that I'm here. My partnership with Amanda only shows my strength as an athlete and how much I can contribute. I'm here, just call me, I'm ready to step in, but if I have to prove myself, I'm ready for that too. That's my life goal right now. I've achieved a lot already. Now it's time to come back home, and hopefully soon to fight for that UFC belt. Would you be interested in seeing Larissa Pacheco back in the UFC? Next, let's move on to what we reported a couple of days ago. Recently, we reported that Hamdi Abdelwahab was removed from the UFC roster following his UFC 321 victory against Chris Barnett. Well, it looks like Hamdi has broken his silence on the situation. According to him, he was not fired from the UFC, but his contract was done. He's hoping the UFC re-signs him. He also wrote about a huge health scare that happened 5 weeks before the fight. According to the reports, Khamzat suffered a torn left pectoral muscle 5 weeks before the Chris Barnett fight. The injury led him to get a broken hand in round 1 during the fight. This is what he wrote, which is translated to English via Instagram. Just wanted to find a way to explain what happened during and before the fight so people have the right to understand what was going on. I was supposed to do surgery and call out, but I decided to not let go of this fight and keep the fight on. Alhamdulillah, God has the right of people to understand what happened in the match, and before the match I was injured very strong before the match in 5 weeks, and those who are close to me are the ones who knew it. But now all the people have the right to understand. Thank God in every case and clarification, but I was not fired from my contract. Finish didn't renew the contract. Mauricio Ruffy apparently leaked his next UFC fight date. While on a podcast with the other fighting nerds, Ruffy revealed that he's fighting in Australia, but has yet to sign the contract. We're at the final details, just waiting for the contract, but I'll be fighting in the first week of February in Australia. A very good fight. As for his opponent, who would you like to see him fight after coming off a submission loss to Benoit Saint-Denis? Talking about fighting nerds, in the same podcast, Carlos Prates showed his lock screen and it was Leon Edwards. And finally, Justin Gaethje and Cory Sandhagen were in the gym together and hit a double jump rope on the first try. Here's the clip.
Damn! Oh my God! Damn! That was it! Oh, damn!
What's the most warranted criticism about your fighting abilities you've heard, and what is the most unwarranted?
They're probably the same thing. The fact that I come from wrestling and don't use it as much as you would think. Probably a good criticism because I could have tried to implement it more early on in my career, coming from a wrestler and never being a striker in any way. I really fell in love with that part of it, and I was always the best in wrestling at stopping people from taking me down. Another point, these are 7-minute college wrestling matches. Now we're talking 25-minute fights, and I could never even walk off the mat after 7 minutes. So I'm not gonna get tired in 7 minutes and then get my ass beat because I tried to wrestle. I'll never lose like that.
There's a reason UFC fighters bring ice packs to game night, and it's not for the drinks. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is the largest injury law firm in America, with over 1,000 attorneys nationwide. They've recovered over $25 billion for more than 500,000 clients. Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people for over 35 years. When you hire them, it's like hiring a legal army that has your back. The results speak for themselves. In Florida, a client received $12 million after the insurance company offered just $350,000. In Pennsylvania, another client was awarded $26 million, 40 times the insurer's $650,000. If you're injured because of someone else's negligence, you deserve to be paid. Not all law firms are created equal. Hiring the wrong one can cost you. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan and go to our link at forthepeople.com/MMA. Again, if you're injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan and go to our link at forthepeople.com/MMA. Their fee is free unless they win. Rampage Jackson proposes change in UFC bonuses. On a recent episode of the Jackson podcast, Rampage was talking to TJ Dillashaw and Bobby Green when he proposed a new change in the UFC bonuses. Now, it's been told that with the new $7 billion deal with Paramount Plus, bonuses would go up, but the amount has yet to be specified. According to Rampage, he thinks a $1 million Fight of the Night bonus would change fighters' lives and would create banger events with all of the fighters going their hardest for it. Here's what Rampage had to say.
If I was a promoter and I had the bankroll the UFC had, I would up the Fight of the Night bonus. They just made $7 billion more just for rights, right?
They say they are.
I will up the Fight of the Night bonus to $1 million. I want fights. Fight of the Night bonus to $1 million. So that's $2 more million per show. They can afford it. You're gonna get more. You're gonna get more exciting
Let's
fights.
do a prediction. What do we think that it's gonna be?
I agree with that because that's life-changing
That's what I'm
money.
fighting for right there. I'm fighting for the nugget, you know?
Yeah, because that'd be bigger than some people's purse. That Fight of the Night bonus be bigger than some people's purse.
That's what you fight for, Bobby?
Yeah.
Do you agree with Rampage and think that a $1 million bonus for the best fighters of the night could change the boring fights and give fighters a reason to leave it all on the table? Let us know what you think the UFC should change the bonuses amount to in the comments below. Muhammad Mokaev upset with the UFC for bad guy image. At this point, everyone knows what's happening with Muhammad Mokaev and the UFC, so we won't bore you with the detail. Nowadays, Mokaev competes for Brave CF and even has a fight coming up on November 7th. Mokaev recently appeared in an interview with MMA Fighting where he talked about the UFC situation. He said that what made him upset the most was the UFC painting him as some sort of bad guy for the company. He told MMA Fighting this. You know what got me upset? If you do something wrong, you don't get upset. You get what you deserve. But when you don't do something, what you've done, what you've been shown in the media as a bad guy, that was what got me upset. I don't care about this contract or about anything, but something that's not true cannot come out like this and ruin somebody's reputation. If I'm a bad guy, I'm a hard guy to deal with. You don't keep that guy for 7 fights in your organization. You kick him out straight away. I've been renewed with the UFC contract twice while I was there with a better purse, of course. If I'm a bad guy, straight away you kick him out. That's how it works. Do you think Muhammad Mokaev deserves another chance with the UFC? Let us know in the comments below. Jon Jones trolls Tom Aspinall again. Jon continues to troll Tom Aspinall for his eye poke situation at UFC 321. We reported a few days ago that he updated his profile picture on Twitter from just a duck to a duck wearing an eye patch. Now, at last night's Dirty Boxing 4 weigh-ins, Jon Jones was seen rolling up to the arena on a horse. Well, not just any horse. In the clip, you can see the horse was wearing an eye patch, and Jon made sure the camera saw it, calling it out in a quick 15-second interview with the Schmo.
Whoa, we got a horse, but I can't see him maybe an eye. We got a goat over the ball side. Johnny Bones, go. Roll it up here for DBX4. What's going on, DBX4? What's up, Nashville, Tennessee? How do you have a better entrance than this to the White House, Johnny Bones? We got to do it right. We got to be a horse with the light patch on. Have a good night. Here it is, DBX4. Let's get this party started.
I'm excited to be here. What's up, Nashville, Tennessee?
How do you have a better entrance than this to the White House, Johnny Bones?
We got to do it right. We got the beautiful horse with the eye patch on. We're having a good night.
Here it is, DBX4. Let's get this party started.
Talking about Jon Jones, it was revealed by Abdulrashid Sadulaev that Khabib offered the UFC a fight against Jon Jones for $500,000. Jon Jones told everyone he was leaving MMA the next day. He said, "A while ago I was talking to Khabib and he happened to be sitting next to Dana White. I talked to Dana and Khabib goes, 'Come on, do a fight.' I say, 'Against who?' He said, 'What's the difference?' 'Against whoever.' I said, 'There is a difference. What's the pay?' $500,000. I go, 'And who would I be fighting?' 'Jon Jones,' he says. Jon Jones, so you know, he's a legend. $500,000 for that isn't serious. I said, 'Why are you undervaluing me?' We joked about it. I said, 'All right, I'll think about it.' The next day, Jon Jones posts an announcement saying he's retiring. I say, we shouldn't have started that conversation. Renato Moicano spoke about the Tom Aspinall eye poke, saying that he thinks that Tom could have continued the fight, but believes he made a business decision to take the no contest and keep his title. He also thinks that if Tom was in Ciryl Gane's position and was trying to take the belt, he would have continued on with the fight. Here's what Moicano had to say.
I think he could fight, but I think he made a decision.
A business decision.
Yeah, because he thought, okay, because if he was Ciryl Gane, he would not stop, because otherwise he's not gonna get the title shot.
Yeah.
But he's the champion, he's gonna make money as a champion.
Right.
So from what I think is, he could fight, but he chose not to do it.
Yeah.
So is that chicken out? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.